this is Mindy Eggen, and I'm excited to show you the January 2023 release from Concord and Ninth. And I'm introducing to you the Just the Ticket stamp and die set. Now, I had so much fun creating with this set. This is really endless possibilities. You are going to be able to create a variety of raffle tickets that you can also customize. So first, I wanted to take a look at the stamp set, which has a lot of great sentiments that you can fit into the different sized raffle tickets. We have Good for One, Be Mine. We also have an arrow, some lines that are in stars, hearts, and dots that you can add to your raffle tickets. And then also some smaller sentiments like the XOXO and Love Ya. For the die set, we have the variety of raffle tickets. On the back, of course, it's going to show you all the die cut pieces that come with it. And here I'm going to give you a close-up of those pieces all die cut out and how you can use them together. So there is such a cute variety of sentiments that you can die cut into your tickets or add right to the front of the card. Now there I have the I heart, and there's supposed to be a U, but I could not find it. I did find it after the video on my floor, but it's supposed to say I heart you. There's a larger heart that you can add these little birds to. We have Love Ya for some sentiments and Cutie. There's also a scripty friend and hugs word, and also another love. We have some X's and O's. There is an arrow there, so you could put that on top of your heart. And then we have this circle die that is meant to go behind the smiley faces. So you can die cut that and really customize it for some fun colors. I'm going to show you some fun things you can do with these raffle tickets. So I started with, of course, a rainbow assortment of raffle tickets. Here, I just die cut out the base piece of the raffle ticket from white cardstock, and then the smaller piece or the individual one, I die cut out a variety of colors. So that top piece there is your base piece that you're going to start with. And then this is the individual die that you can decorate and customize and add right on top. Now there is a bigger bracket die or a bigger bracket stamp that you can add to the base piece, but I really loved adding that different color cardstock. So this is another style. This is a vertical style of the raffle tickets that you can also customize, and there's a die that fits inside of that as well. And then there are some hearts. Each of these raffle tickets puts in there a perforated edge, so you can fold these up accordion style to put either in a package or maybe even in the Matchbox, or you can add to the front of a card. You can also fold that perforated edge, and then you can tear these apart for individual raffle tickets, or just to have some fun maybe with your kids or spouse that you can give them to them. Another thing you can do is attach them to make one long strip. So all you would need to do is add some glue there or double-sided tape, and there's a little tab on one end. That is where you add the adhesive to attach to the next one. I like to use some nice strong liquid adhesive here, and it also gives me a little bit of time to move that around and make sure it's placed properly. And then I have this long strip of rainbow raffle tickets. Is that not so fun? Now here I have some tucked in a Matchbox, and I wrapped it with some gold thread. I just kind of slid that off, and then it reveals these fun tickets inside of your Matchbox. I want to quickly show you a little trick if you plan on mass producing these to create a bunch at once. So I took some cardstock and I just die cut out that individual piece out of that red cardstock, saving that. And in my MISTI, I have a piece of cardstock and I'm stamping down that image that has the lines on it. Then I'm going to take my die and I place that over my stamped image so it was perfectly lined up, and I can take my die cut that I'm going to use, ink up my image, and stamp it down. So now everything is perfectly placed. I have a perfect margin going around my ticket, and all I need to do is pop this out and then place the next one in there, and you can quickly stamp out a bunch of those raffle tickets. Now you can customize your raffle ticket with any one of the sentiments that are on the stamp set, and I found it easiest to just grab an acrylic block and some black ink and stamp that down. Now I happen to be rocking mine and I pushed a little bit too hard. You don't really want to rock. You just want to stamp down gently. This is the 25-cent Kisses that I'm stamping in Poppy ink right in the center. I love that bright red on the Ballet Slippers cardstock. So I just wanted to share those quick tips with you that I found easiest to quickly make a bunch of those raffle tickets. Now here is a card I made where I have an actual mini envelope that I stamped out a bunch of raffle tickets, tore them apart and added them inside that envelope. And I put it on top of some of the pattern paper from the Be Mine pattern paper collection. The next card I want to share with you is also using the Be Mine pattern paper as the background. And here I have the hearts, and I left them all together. I didn't rip them apart, and I have them strung across the front of my paper. Here is a look at that Be Mine pattern paper collection that I have been using in my card projects. And this has a ton of great designs on here. If you flip it over to the back, you can see there are 9 different prints that are all fantastic to use in these Valentine projects. And that is a look at the Just the Ticket Stamp and Die set. Hi everyone, this is Mindy for Concord and 9th, and I'm introducing you to the Love Lines Turnabout Stamp Set and Coordinating Die Set. Concord and 9th did it again with this fantastic Turnabout stamp that has these beautiful whimsical images on here and some coordinating sentiments. Now the die set also has some images that you can add to embellish your card front. Before we jump in to the Turnabout stamp, I want to take a closer look at the die set, which includes this banner die that you can use these pieces individually or layered together for this fun look. Then we have these hearts down here. Now these are kind of a 2 for 1. You have an outline and then also the solid piece from the inside. I think these would make a really great confetti mix for shaker cards. We have this larger heart that cuts the shadow and then also an outline, and then you could also use that inside piece. We have an outline of a flower, so one I did in matte gold cardstock, the other one I did some die cut inlay, and then we have the Love, Love, Love You in this beautiful scripty font and shadow layer. Now the Turnabout stamp is kind of a 3 for 1. You are going to be able to get 3 different designs with this particular stamp set. The reason for that is we have an inner layer that you can do the turnabout with to create this circle in the center of your card. And then we have the outside layer, which is a separate stamp, and that would allow you to create a frame, leaving the circle empty to add a sentiment to. And then we can put them both together to create an entire background. Before I show you how to do this, I want to quickly go through the sentiments on the stamp set. They include Happy Valentine's Day, You're the Best, I like you quite a lot, I love that I know you, Hello Lovely, and Thanks Friend in that scripty font. For the first card, I'm going to create the frame on my card. So I already went ahead and used the alignment grid, and I have my all-in-one jig in here with my cardstock in place. This is a quick look at the colors that I will be using today. Now that everything is in place and I have the 1 on my all-in-one jig up in the right-hand corner, I can go ahead and ink this up with my lightest color. I usually start with my lightest color first, inking my stamp up, and then I'm going to stamp this down onto my cardstock. And this cardstock piece is using the white cardstock from Concord and 9th that is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Once I stamp this down, I will clean off my stamp to make sure that it's dry for my next one. I'm going to turn my all-in-one jig so the number 2 is up in the right-hand corner. And I just kind of pat my stamp to make sure that it is completely dry. Then I'm going to bring in my second lightest color, so either the yellow or this sea glass. You could stamp first, either one. So this one is sea glass and I'm stamping down. I will turn my jig so I have that 3 in the top corner, stamp down the sorbet, and then my last color is Oceanside. So now we have this frame on the front of our card. Since I already have this stamp in place, I'm going to go ahead and add the second one and do our full panel background. So I use the alignment guide to line up that center piece, pick it up at the door of my MISTI, remove my alignment guide, and then I can place another piece of cardstock down. So this one is creating the entire background. I started with the Stardust, the Sea Glass, Sorbet, and Oceanside. To remove my cardstock, I'm just going to carefully bend my all-in-one jig and let that cardstock pop off. I cleaned my jig off, And then I'm carefully peeling back that frame to leave the centerpiece in there. And then once again, I can go through and stamp all of my colors, turning my jig each time to create that perfect centerpiece. So here is a look at all 3 backgrounds I was able to create. The first card example I want to share with you might be one of my favorite cards that I created out of this release, and that is using that centerpiece or that circle in the center there with the turnabout. And I used the Love, Love, Love You word die cut out of matte gold cardstock. And I also have some clear embellishments. So this is something new this month for Concord and Ninth. These are the dewdrop embellishments, so it's just clear. There's a variety of sizes in here, and they come in this really great case. All you have to do is kind of snap it off. There's also some sequins mix. This is going to be great for some shaker cards, and there's a mix of gold and silver in here in a variety of sizes. Then you just put the cap back on and kind of snap it shut. My next card I want to share is using that full panel background I created. I have a banner down at the bottom with a sentiment, and then I also used the Love and Hugs off of the Sweet Sayings die set. This turnabout is so great because there's so much value packed into that one stamp set. And that was a closer look at the Love Lines Turnabout stamp set and coordinating die. Hi everyone, this is Mindy for Concord and Ninth, and I'm introducing to you today some brand new quilt top dies. This is the Love Quilt Top and the XO Quilt Top die. I love how Concord and Ninth keeps coming out with these amazing designs in the quilt top. So for these 2 sets, there's always the examples on the back that you can use as kind of a reference point. They give you an idea of how it die cuts out and also some colors that you can get started with. I also really love the versatility with these sets because each of them comes with its own scalloped square die that you can mix and match with other products. We'll take a closer look at the XO die here. Now that red piece of cardstock is just the stitched frame, and then my white piece at the top there has the stitched frame and then also the XO stitching in there. So as you get closer up here, you could see all the stitching detail in that, and that is where you would line up your pieces of cardstock or pattern paper. So here is an example of a panel I did using some Valentine colors, but this can definitely go for more than just Valentine's Day. At the top of the die set there, you'll see the pieces that you would die cut out of cardstock or pattern paper. And then there's also a couple little hearts that you can put on for added detail. Another thing that's really neat about this particular die is you could die cut it again on your cardstock to create a 3rd row. So for this particular card, I created a whole card front panel using that XO stitching detail, and then just one set of the XO letters I did with some colored cardstock. Now for our Love Quilt Top die, this one has that frame and then also the stitching for the LOVE. The O is a heart. We also have some fun other elements on here. So we have some hearts and then also the letters. Now this first piece of cardstock has just that stitched frame. And then the second piece of cardstock I'm going to bring in has the quilt top cut into it. Another thing you could do with either one of these dies is take that quilt pattern and die cut it right into the front of your cardstock. So here I have the LOVE or the heart for the O just cut right into my card front and then layered up with different colors of cardstock. Now, of course, you could take your L and make it 2 different colors of cardstock. I left mine all the same color for my letters, but you can definitely mix it up to create some fun patterns on here. I also think it's a great time to bring in some of that glitter cardstock to jazz up our cards a little bit. And then don't forget, you can use those additional elements on the die set to create a whole different card entirely. So I took that larger heart there and I die cut it from 2 different shades of cardstock. So my first heart there for my rainbow has like a red and a pink, and then the 2 different colors of yellow to really spread out that rainbow. There are a lot of fun ways to use this die set. So that is a quick look at the Love Quilt Top and XO Quilt Top dies. Hi everyone, this is Mindy for Concord and Ninth, and I'm introducing to you the Perfect Match Stamp and Die Set. This set is so well thought out in creating the most adorable matchboxes. These sets have lots of detail to them where you can really decorate and customize your matchbox. Now on the flip side, this gives you the idea of the stamp set and how those all layered together. And then the same thing with the die set. When you flip that over, that will give you different ideas. So you can add little messages to the front or inside of your Matchbox. Here's a closer look at the stamp set. So those two main stamp sets with the dark areas, when you stamp them out, there's going to be some open space there. And what you do is layer up those smaller images to create those colorful scenes. Included in the die set is this rectangle, and you can use that to die cut these out to add to the front or even the inside of your Matchbox. There are some images for you to decorate the side of your box. So there's that dotted side that looks kind of like the Matchbox and it says strike here, and then also a decorative border and lots of great sentiments. Now these longer ones, like your pretty great, what's up, hot stuff, those longer ones can fit on the stick of your match, which is super cute. So these are for decorating your box. Now let's take a look at the actual die set. This also has a lot of elements in here for adding detail and making little scenes for your Matchbox. Now there's the kite here that is die cut from white cardstock as kind of your base, and then you can decorate it with colored cardstock for the actual kite and the tails of your kite. There are the match sticks. This is where you can add the sentiment on the stick of your matches. We have a little jar and a lid that you can glue together and create a vase of flowers. Now down here is my stems and my leaves that I can die cut some flowers from and add right on top. Our flame is created with 3 different pieces that you can layer together in different colors or even in some gold glitter cardstock. We have a couple die cut words. So we have hi there, and then we have for you, or you can take this heart, place it down by the you, and we have I heart you or I love you. So another great way to add a message to the front of your Matchbox. I have a couple examples of scenes that you can create. I used some pattern paper for the base, and then I added the kite there with the 2 little clouds included in this die set. And then there's also the cutest little mini rainbow, and I added the sun back there and then a small sentiment down towards the bottom. To create your box, you have 2 dies that's going to give you these 2 different sizes of rectangles. So we'll take the smaller one here, and you'll notice that there are some score lines on there. All you need to do is go around and just fold along all of those score lines. This smaller piece is the base of your box. You can create your base out of pattern paper or out of cardstock. Now on our base are these 4 little flaps, and you're going to want to add some strong adhesive to that. I am using some double-sided tape to each of those flaps. Next, I'm going to take my craft pick and I'm just going to peel away the backing on each of those double-sided tape pieces. And what we're going to do is just fold this up. These are going to line up perfectly with the ends of our box. So here you can see I'm just going to fold that side up and that flap in and the other side in, kind of hold those tight to make sure it's adhered to the side, and repeat that step on the other end. So now we have the base part of our Matchbox. So now inside of here, we can add our little scenes, or you can add some little candy, maybe even some jewelry or even those raffle tickets. Then next we have this larger piece. Now this, I will say, you want to plan out a little bit. There are 2 skinny areas of this piece. You're going to want to do your stamping on that first if you plan on adding stamping to this. So be sure to get your stamping done before you actually glue your top together. Now this one too already has the score lines on it from the die. So I'm just going through and folding along all of those score lines. Now on one end is a skinny flap. That is where you're going to add your adhesive, which once again, I just use some strong double-sided adhesive. I remove the backing and then I flip this over and I'm going to fold down on that second score line. There's my exposed adhesive, and then I'm going to fold the bottom portion up and just press down, and there we have our top of our box. Now these 2 just slide right together. Here's my first example for you today where I have that scene kind of stamped out and added to the front of my Matchbox. I did my stamping on the side where it says strike here. And then when I pop the bottom portion out, I have the matches in there. And these have these really cute little sentiments on them. Now I glued my matches down to the bottom, but you could just die cut out a bunch, stamp out a bunch, and put them in there. It would be really fun for them to kind of just find various messages, pull them out with the matches. This next one is also using one of those scenes that are stamped out. This one has the flower. I also stamped on the side. I just love that texture look where it has the strike here. And then when you pop your box out, this one has a little scene in it. So this is that adorable mini rainbow with a message in the bottom. And I like to leave these kind of able to pull out. So it's like a little note card. I think it's really cute to be able to pull those out, set it off on the side for them to look at. And then this next one, I have the For You on the front. I use the decorative border on the edge, and this one is filled with raffle tickets from Just the Ticket Set, where they can pull these out. You can have them tied together with a ribbon. They fit really well in the inside of the box. And then the last one here might be my favorite, and that is because it has treats in the inside. So this is one of my go-to snacks, little mini Snicker bars. So of course I set that inside there, and it held it in very well. Then these are just a few other examples I was playing with. I didn't finish them all yet, but there's little scenes in here, kind of creating a little diorama box that maybe the recipient can set up on their desk. And I also wanted to show you how well you can use either cardstock or pattern paper to create the boxes. And that is the Perfect Match Stamp and Die Collection. Hi everyone, this is Mindy for Concord and Ninth, and today I'm introducing to you the beautiful Potpourri Stamp and Die Set. This die set has this gorgeous cover plate die, also some smaller sentiments, that is Smile and Love, a little flower there at the bottom, and then a banner die, and that banner die is perfect for these banner sentiments. So there's 4 of them there for you, along with 3 other sentiments and some flower images. So first, we'll take a closer look at these smaller sentiments on the set, including things like sending all my love for someone special, to my Valentine, my dear friend, and those all fit perfectly in that banner. Now this flower die is really cool because you can die cut the base out of green cardstock and then layer that second piece. Now I cut 2 pieces of cardstock, one in a dark color, one in a light color, and offset it a little bit to give it some dimension and look like there's more to it than there really is. Some of the other sentiments included in this set is Together is my favorite place to be, You're pretty much the best, and just a little reminder that you are loved. Now I want to walk you through a closer look at that cover plate included in the die set because there's 2 ways that you can do it. So if you die cut it from some colored cardstock, you could see there I have a sentiment heat embossed there. So when you run it through that first time, it leaves it nice and flat. But if you take this additional piece, you can line it up over that area, run that through your die cut machine, and what it's going to do is add some of those details back into it just like the rest of it. So it's a consistent background of flowers. So you can use it either to add sentiments to or to have it as a full background to your card. Now I have a couple card projects I want to share with you featuring that full panel die set. So for this one, this is one of my favorite techniques to do, and that is die cutting that panel twice. Once from white cardstock and once from a gold mirror cardstock. And then I'll offset it when I layer it together to give it kind of that elegant shadow look. I have it layered with foam tape for dimension and added to a piece of paper from the Be Mine pattern paper collection. For this card, I did the same technique of offsetting it, but I used sea glass and evergreen cardstock, and I added the details into the flower. The sentiment is from the Love Lines collection, die cut out of rose gold cardstock. And my third card here that I created was using that small flower. So this one I did the offsetting too. Once again, I did some ballet slippers and honeysuckle cardstock. And then for the yellow flowers, I did buttercup and stardust and just kind of trickled those flowers down the front of a mini slimline card. So that is a look at the Potpourri Stamp and Die set. Hi everyone, this is Mindy for Concord and Ninth, and I'm excited to introduce to you the Sweet Sayings die. This die set contains 7 dies if you include the shadow layer, and is really great for adding that special sentiment to the front of your card project. Now you can use that large Love and Hugs sentiment as a focal point for the front of your card, Or you can use the additional elements to kind of build up the design of your card using those postage stamps and that larger postage stamp at the bottom. One of the really fun things about that Hugs and Kisses at the bottom there is when you run that through the die cut machine, it's going to cut those letters out for you. So you can save those for another project. But on the flip side of this piece, I just added a lighter color cardstock to the back. So I just trimmed it down a little bit smaller than this postage stamp size to add that two-tone look to it. A similar technique can be found with those two smaller postage stamps where it die cuts it out and I just flip-flop the color of the hearts. Another thing with that Hugs and Kisses at the bottom there is these fit perfect on top of the Matchbox. So you can use these to not only decorate your card front, but also these adorable little treat boxes. You can see how it fits perfectly on the front. Now we also have sentiments like Hey You, we have the Love and Hugs, and Love Ya. One of the card projects that I created was using those postage stamps, and I die cut those out of white and just changed up the color of the heart. And I have it backed with some paper from the Be Mine pattern paper collection. Now the hearts I decided to add a little bit of touch to with some glossy accents just to give it a little bit of shine. I love how versatile these large sentiments are because you can cut out that backer piece of your shadow layer, which I did out of some cardstock that I added strips of different colored cardstock to. So that is my shadow layer. And then I die cut the actual Love and Hugs out of white cardstock and use the outline. But we also have those inside pieces that we can save for future projects. So much versatility in this. Now I pointed out there's a little heart there in that ampersand sign, and that comes from the brand new Enamel Hearts. So there's a variety of color in those and sizes to decorate your projects. So there's a lot of fun ways to use this Sweet Sayings die set, whether it's to make a design on the front of your card or just to add those sentiments. And that is the introduction to the Sweet Sayings die set.